Glad to have you back. It's still Daybreak Africa, reaching you from the studios of KAFTAN Television in Lagos. Joining us to talk about thrift business this morning is Vera Chinyere. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
I think she's a business
analyst.
Our in-house business analyst. How are you doing this morning?
I'm very well.
Okay, so we're talking about thrift business this morning, and in case you're wondering, the thrift we are talking about is not contribution.
That's true.
That's not a monthly contribution. So there is this new wave of selling Okrika clothes as thrift. Now the difference between thrift and the regular Okrika clothes is that when you go to the market and say, oh, I want to buy Okrika, you see the vendors telling you have to bend down and select, make your choice and do whatever it is you want to do. But with thrift, the clothes are sorted, in some cases probably ironed and then packaged for you. So you just pay maybe a little bit higher price or extra price. Now this business has gone, like, I don't know, it has moved from sole proprietorship to LTD or PLC. So we've seen a lot of people come into this business. There are a lot of people even saying, no, I want to start thrift, I want to start thrift. And from my own observation, there's a lot of money in that business. Because I know someone that in a month she doesn't make less than 200k. Yes, on thrift alone. And what am I talking about in a month? Per sales, she could make as high as 200k, because I don't know how much it is, but how much they buy their bills and all of that. But now let's talk about the thrift business. Let's say I know some people may be shy to want to start because it's somehow like you want to go and buy a Okrika and start selling. Because personally, there was a time in a particular area that I stayed, there was this woman there that sells Okrika clothes. She has a shop and she just hangs them and she sells them. And there was a point that even her husband joined her, and that's what they were doing. And I used to wonder that, how do you sell Okrika clothes only? Like, it's a different thing if you are in the market and you're with your bell and you're like, pick up 50 naira, 50 naira, you know, that kind of thing. That's a different ball game. But you open a shop and you're selling just it didn't make sense to me at the time, because at that time I was talking about you could get this suit in Okrika for 10 naira, 20 naira. Wow. Yes. You get blouses for 10 naira, 20 naira. I remember my mom used to go there back then and stock up clothes for us. And she would tell us, I bought this for 15 naira, I bought this for 25 naira.
We say we have, some dresses for 15 naira, yes.
So I used to wonder, how do you make money from that business? Although I may have understood it now, but I would like you to share with our viewers how money is made from Okrika business. And don't look at it that because you're a graduate you cannot do it. Forget the smell. Just
well, thrift business, like you just said, it's very, very cheap and affordable, and there's so much money in it because you're buying used clothes and you're selling it. And since you're doing an online business with let's say you're doing a thrift online business, you go and sort out the clothes, you package it. Of course, you're going to add price for your transport, for the packaging, for ironing, for your effort. So automatically it cannot be the same price that you bought it, you will sell it out. So imagine you buy a shirt for 500 naira and you sell it for 2,000. You made 1,500 on just one shirt. Imagine that you sell up to 20, 1,500 times 20. That's over how much? So you see that there is so much money in it. You understand? So thrift business is a business that I'm seeing most youth going into now. They are diving into it. Basically because it doesn't need too much technicality. It doesn't need too much skill. It doesn't need too much, IQ. It's just go to the market, get the clothes and sell. You understand? So that's why most people are finding it very easy. Even the illiterate are now going into it because they don't need so much versatility in it. Just go to the market, get these clothes, get a phone, and
just
have customers and take pictures, and you've sold it. So that's why people are going into it. It doesn't have any special versatility that it takes to dive into the business. So that's why.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about the dresses. Now I realize that many thrift businesses are just for females only. You really have males, male thrift business and all of that. In fact, I can say that 80%, to be fair, 80% of thrift businesses in Nigeria presently are just for females. So why do you think there is that disparity, or there is that wide margin or wide gap between the male wears and then female wears?
So according to survey, female dresses are more fast in the market. Their trends are more fast, unlike the male. Every 2 to 3 months you see that new fashion is coming out for the females, new trend of wears, and females like to be updated. So that's why they produce more of these fashion dresses than the male. It's very rare to see male trends or male fashions like once in a bloom, but females, every 2 to 3 months you see they bring out Versace, Zara trousers, Zara jeans, Zara tops, different trends.
I think another contributor to that is that men hardly throw their clothes away.
No can wear his clothes away. He doesn't care. 15 years.
I have a friend, we had this conversation over the weekend, and then he was telling me that he has been wearing a particular shirt for 10 good years. And he said he still looks as good, still looks good as new. And you wouldn't know. Yes, that's the thing that you wouldn't know.
Even for me as a woman, I wear my clothes fast. As 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Exactly. I hardly throw clothes away. And that's because you get attached to some, no matter how many clothes you have, even if you have there's just this particular set of 5 or 3 that you rotate again and again and again. And with men, it's like it's worse with them. They hardly throw away their clothes. And you know that most of these thrift wears, they come from obodo oyinbo, like they say, from abroad, and the people abroad, they have to throw it away or say they are no longer using it for us to be able to have it as thrift. So which means that if they don't throw it away over there, we just be where we are. So maybe I feel that that's a major contributor to the fact to the reason why men hardly have okrika wears, but somehow they will still get their own portion, no matter how little. Now let's talk about the pricing for thrift wears. Now when you want to buy okrika normally, even up till now, I know that there are certain places in Lagos, in Bega, Yaba, and the rest of them, that when you go there, if it's their market day, you can even get what they call new open, like a new bill. And in those new bills, you find new unused wares that would go for probably the highest is 500 naira. If they are new. If it's not new, then maybe 300, 200, 100 naira, and the rest like that. But thrift collectors or thrift sellers, they don't sell their clothes that cheap. And what many of them bank on is usually the fact that they package. But then when you look at it really, there really isn't any much packaging. So you want to buy thrift and you something that should be maybe 100 naira or 200 naira, you end up buying it for 3,000 naira because you're buying it from an online vendor. Do you think that that is fair? And before you answer that question, have it in mind that even the law of our land says 25% profit. So the profit should be 25% of your total cost. So, but now you are making like
50 to 80.
Not 50, that's like 500% of what you,
more than 100.
More than 100. Like some people make as high as, if you buy a clothes for 100 naira now, and then you sell it for 3,000. That's like 3,000%. That's 3,000% of what you used to buy the fabric. So do you think the pricing of thrift is fair? And if a Nigerian youth or someone out there is to start or were to start the business, what would you advise them on about pricing?
Well, I think that the pricing of thrift wears nowadays is not really fair, because the law of the land says you should make only 25% of profit, but people are bringing in their selfish reasons also.
Would you call it selfishness? Is it greediness? I do not think it's greediness. I feel, you can actually, of course, the law says 25%, but we know that many business owners now in Nigeria do not actually follow that rule or follow that law, and you can actually peg your price as regards your customer base. Now you know that if you are going to be putting a price of a wear for 3,000 naira, that means that your customers can afford 3,000 or even more, or maybe less. You understand? So I do not want to call it greediness. I don't think that it varies for different people. It varies.
To an extent, it could be greediness on the part of the seller.
I think the businesswoman in Grace is the one that just spoke now, not the journalist.
Customer base. So like as I was saying, customer base too could. you know, if you watch your customer, your audience, it's just like catering. So before you cook for people, you have to watch who you're cooking for, or you have to watch who is getting the contract of your cooking. So it's the same thing with this Thrift too. If you look at your customer base and you see that there are people that are well doing, you can actually increase it based on your customer base, and they will know that you are getting too exorbitant in your pricing, so they will pay. So if you look at your customer base and you know that they can afford it, you can increase it. Then secondly, everybody wants to be profit. Everybody wants to gain too much. That's just the truth. Everybody wants to gain too much. Everybody's like, no, I want to gain too much. The economy is bad. I need to gain too much. This is where I get all my income from, so I must gain too much. And you know, when they have that kind of mentality, they don't know that they are slowly becoming too greedy in getting their profit. So mentality too matters, you understand? So everything boils down to your mentality and what really is your reason for starting up your business. Because some people are starting up their business because they are the breadwinners of their family. So because the economy is bad and they want to fend for themselves. So when they know that if they go inside doing nothing, they will not eat, they have to like meet a target of 10,000 naira this week. They don't even care if they are getting that bill for 100 naira. They want to meet their target, so they are increasing their bill, they are increasing their thrift wares because they have a target. So you will not really blame people for doing that. Really.
Okay.
You will not really blame people for
that. The second question about advice for people that want to start, how would you advise them to price their product?
Well, I would advise them to start small because you don't have a fan base yet. You don't have a customer base yet. You're just starting your business. So you have to make sure that you get permanent returning customers. And how do you do that? Start small, so that when these people like your flexibility in your pricing, they would stay. Then gradually you increase and you give them tangible reasons why you're increasing. With doing that, you're already getting a permanent fan base or customer base slowly. But if you start with 5K and you are getting it somewhere for 3,000, you're losing your customers. So you need to start small. So you need to watch you need to survey. That's why in business there's something we call surveillance. Survey is important in business. You need to survey your fellow thrift sellers. How much are they selling? Then with that, you're starting. Okay, you find out that they are selling for 3K. You can sell for 2K. Because you want to draw them to you. Do you understand? So survey is very, very important in any kind of business. So by the time you've done your survey and you see that people are selling outside for 4K, 5K, and you're just starting, you don't have any customer at all, you can start from 1,500, 2,000. You can do that for the stretch of 6 months. By the time your customers are now sticking to you for that 1,500, 2,000, you can now give a broadcast that, oh, there is now increasing, in price due to these reasons. Then you know that they're going to return to you and stick to you. That's how you're going to do it for a starter. So that's the best advice I'm going to give. Get a good survey.
Okay, thank you very much. So you hear people in the environmental space say that Nigeria or even African countries are a dumping ground for this wares, because now they bring in so much wares they don't need anymore abroad, and also they bring it here and then we start selling it for 15 naira, 100 naira, 3,000, 2,000 and all of that. But we know that not many people, because every day or every week there is always a new bill coming out, and then people many a times people that buy it now dump the wares. They dump the ones they bought earlier, and then they go back to buy because it's very cheap. It's something I can always buy every day or even buy every week. How much is 2,000? How much is 3,000? I can always use to get something that I really like every week. So this, because of that, the clothes, you dump it somewhere. You can burn. Some people burn them. So some people just maybe throw them somewhere. So it causes environmental issues. So what's your take on that? You know that people why many people buy thrift wears in Nigeria is because the cost of even buying a new wear is even very expensive. Even if you want to sew a custom made dress, you know how expensive that is. And the best bet is you going for a used clothes. Yes. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think in everything, abuse is not something that can be avoided. Do you understand? In everything, even drugs, food, everything is abused. So I feel it's normal to see these things happening. It's normal to see that thrift wares are being abused and causing environmental pollution or degradation. So I feel like regulations should come in, to monitor how many thrifts comes into the country every week. Even though it cannot be fully regulated, but at least if this regulation is proper, it will reduce the rate at which thrift wares come in. But there's a disadvantage in doing that because the ones that are now inside will be increased. So like I said, this is something that would always happen. It's just, I don't know if there's a permanent solution to this environmental pollution of thrift wears all around, because it's cheap, it's affordable. People always want to go for what is affordable. No matter how you tend to design your thrift wear online, people always want to go for what is affordable. And thrift wears are very, very affordable for even the poorest person in the economy. So really, environmental degradation or environmental mess or pollution of these wares all around cannot really stop. It can only be regulated, but it cannot
especially
really
for a country that is poverty capital.
For a country that is poverty capital, it cannot really be stopped. So I don't think that there's any permanent solution that anybody can give right now to these thrift issues or the disadvantage of too much thrift wears in the country. We have too much poor masses in the country, so you can't stop them from buying cheap clothes because they always want to buy it because that's what they can afford. So there's really no permanent solution to this, because whatever I say right now might just be because I want to say it according to survey, but really there's really no permanent solution to this.
If there would be any solution at all, it's going to be something that would have to be worked on probably by the government or a very big private investor, which will mean the revival of the textile industry in Nigeria. Then after the revival of that, then we now have to have industries and companies that produce low cost fabrics and dresses, so that it will be affordable. I mean, many of these clothes that we even call thrift here, there was a time I was speaking to one of my in-laws who stays in the UK, and he said, do you know that we get these clothes for as low as £1?
Yes, yes,
so
very true.
After they've won it for, they bought it for £1 is like 700 naira.
Yes.
So after they bought a cloth for 700 naira and they've worn it and used it and used it and used it, they send it here, and some of you will still buy it for 700 naira or even buy it for 3,000 naira from a thrift vendor. Ask yourself, does that even make sense? But so if we can maybe industrialize our own country itself and create an enabling environment, because I don't know even the companies that make clothes in Nigeria, they buy the fabric. They import the fabric that they want to use to make the dresses. But if we can revive the textile industry, the cotton and textile industry, we have cotton in this country. It's not as if it's not available. But if that can be done, then maybe the solution Vera is talking about will happen.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Vera, for joining us this beautiful morning. Do you have any closing remarks for the upcoming thrift vendors?
Well, to the upcoming thrift vendor, please take risk. Start the business with a good mind, be positive, and please do not overprice your items so that you can have permanent customers who will always patronize you. Remember, profit is the goal, but excess of everything is bad. So in everything, please do not abuse the privilege of selling thrift wares to people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vera.
You know, I just remember something. This is from the part of the suppliers. We see people, you know, buying suppliers' contact. They tell you, okay, if I want to give you my suppliers' contact, I need to you need to pay a particular amount of money.
I think that's another topic for another supplies. It doesn't just stop with thrift vendors. It goes with shoe sellers, human hair, everything, jewelries, everything. For you to get the contacts, you have to pay, and that's another ball game entirely. Maybe we'll bring Vera back next week to talk about that. Thank you so much, Vera.
You're welcome.
All right, viewers and staff, we can go on this segment of Daybreak Africa. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, Daybreak Africa continues.